Well, hey there, gang. Thanks for tuning in to another devotional thought on the Gospel of Mark. Hopefully, these have been encouraging to you, and hopefully, you're off to a great start to your week. Today, I want to share with you a few thoughts on one of the most well-known, famous, and amazing stories in all of Scripture, let alone the Gospel of Mark. If you've been following along in the reading and prayer plan that we provided, you know the story I'm referring to, Jesus walking on water. Now, rather than read to you the story, let me just paint a picture for you today. Jesus has just finished feeding the 5,000, which was an incredible miracle in its own right. But right afterwards, Jesus sends the disciples ahead in a boat while he stays behind to pray. And as the disciples are crossing the sea, a big storm rolls in. So you talk about the wind is blowing hard, the waves are crashing in against the boat, and these disciples are just like hanging on for dear life, thinking this might be the end. Now, I don't know if you've ever been caught in a storm on a boat, but most of us know what it's like to feel completely out of control. Actually, it reminds me, like I've been on several plane trips before where turbulence is set in. I don't know if you ever had that happen to you before, when all of a sudden the plane starts shaking. You know, I hate that feeling, right? Your stomach drops, the seatbelt sign flashes on for a split second, and you wonder, is this it? Like, is this the end? But then you look over and you see the flight attendant kind of like calmly walking down the aisle, pouring someone's Coca-Cola, passing out pretzels, like nothing's wrong at all. And in that moment, you have this thought, well, if they're not panicking, then maybe I don't need to panic either. And that's what happens in this story, essentially. The disciples are exhausted, they're terrified, they're completely helpless. And then Jesus comes walking toward them on the water. And at first they think it's a ghost, but then Jesus calls out to them and says these words. He says, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." And as soon as he steps into the boat, what happens is the wind dies down and the storm doesn't last forever. Because of Jesus, the storm doesn't last forever. So church, here's the truth. Your life will have storms. I mean, you already know that. Maybe you're in one right now. And maybe it's a situation that feels out of control or out of your control. But the good news is that this story reminds us that Jesus sees you, he draws near to you, and he's bigger than the storm. Let me say that again. Jesus sees you, he draws near to you, and he's bigger than your storm. You need to trust that. You need to learn from this story so that the next time life shakes you like some turbulence on a plane or a great windstorm starts beating against your boat, you can remember this truth, that you don't have to panic because Jesus is in your boat. You don't have to panic because Jesus is in your boat. I hope that thought encourages you today as you start a new week. Church, keep trusting in Jesus. Keep leaning into a relationship with him and continue to read through his word. Until next time, I hope this has been a blessing to you. Take care. God bless.